Her voice today promises to echo the very fabric of justice and community service. Thank you, Donna.
Thank you for that warm welcome. As mentioned, my name is Donna Haynes, and I'm a development director, which is a fancy way of saying a fundraiser. But when I mention that I'm a fundraiser for a charity, no one wants to eat lunch with me. But you're a captive audience. Candace may have locked all the doors. I work for a nonprofit charity called the Legal Aid Society of the Orange County Bar. We are not the public defender's office, nor do we provide criminals with free lawyers. We work in the civil court system. Legal aid screens our clients for financial means. We use a federally mandated poverty guidelines and only provide services to extremely low-income folks. That means the household income for a family of 4 cannot exceed $31,000 to receive our free services. This represents a family struggling financially week to week, often homeless and using food stamps, food banks, no creature comforts, sometimes no air conditioning, or things that most of us take for granted: a warm meal, new clothes, a computer, cell phones, maybe sneakers. You get where I'm going with this. The Legal Aid Society of the Orange County Bar is 63 years old. I'll refer to it as Legal Aid. Legal Aid is your neighbor. We are located down the street on the corner of Robinson and Magnolia. We are in the white building with the pea soup green door. I've had the privilege of working there for 17 years, and prior to that, I worked at Florida Rural Legal Services for 16. Our administrative overhead is 12.7%. Most charities listed on Charity Watch spend 70% on programs, meaning that no more than 30% is allowed to be spent on administrative overhead. We exceed those numbers, spending 87.3% on programs and 12.7% on administrative items. I'm proud to work for Executive Director Bethany Barber, who runs a tight, well-oiled machine where no dollar is wasted. She is a lawyer with a heart of gold, and frankly, the most intelligent attorney I've met, and I've met many. As mentioned, Legal Aid provides free legal services to our low-income neighbors in civil matters. We do that with a paid staff of 49, comprised of 16 lawyers and 33 support staff. We also work with the 6,142 lawyers in Orange County, Florida. Members of the Orange County Bar Association are the best of the best, as all members agree to donate $350 a year or manage 2 poverty law cases. Legal Aid's 16-person staff coordinate, train, educate, and cover court when a volunteer attorney is unavailable. Our lawyers also oversee their own cases, often the worst of the worst cases that are impossible to place due to language or complexity. A personal injury lawyer may like to help a child by handling a happy adoption, but is hesitant or uncomfortable handling a case with a sexually abused 6-year-old, rightfully so. We are a small but a mighty group. We are a force to reckon with. What do? Well, we save and change lives. How do we do it? Give us some examples, you ask. Well, our housing program keeps people from wrongful foreclosure or eviction. People call us saying, I have a child and my mom lives with us too. We're facing eviction because our rent went up to $1,700 a month and we cannot afford that now. What do? What does eviction even mean? How much time do we have? Often sobbing, they ask, can you work out a payment plan? What about school for my child? Do they have to switch schools? They're scared and they have no place else to turn. Legal Aid helps them. We keep people from sleeping under the I-4 overpass. We help local financial institutions by explaining to low-income folks what a notice to evict means. Sometimes it means pack your boxes, you need to leave. And we negotiate payment plans when it is appropriate. If a renter does not have the money to bring the amount owed current, we do not stall a legal proceeding. That would be unfair to the business community, to the landlord, if you will. We share alternatives and have the hard but necessary conversation about moving. I recall one disabled veteran who needed guidance. He was going to be evicted because his service dog, on a hot day, jumped into the community pool. Now, let's agree that dogs are not allowed in outdoor pools with babies and families, but his little paws were burning on the concrete. We made sure the service dog received the free refresher doggy training classes, and the handicapped veteran was able to remain in his mobile home where he was paying $743 rent. The stark reality was the park wanted to evict him to bring in a higher paying rent. It was going up to $900 a month. Now, landlords have every right to raise a rent, but only after fulfilling the terms of a contract or a current signed lease. Fair is fair, and it cuts both ways. Allow me to share another example of housing work that legal aid performs. Marilyn was 84 years old, and she worked until cancer, in her words, got the best of her. She got behind on several mortgage payments and owed the bank about $4,700. A local bank foreclosed on her for the late payments. Now, let's agree, she owed the bank the money. I just find it ironic that a bank would pay $11,000 in attorney's fees for a foreclosure action against a senior who was a client for 29 years and 7 months without ever missing a payment. The worst part was, without an attorney, they would not even speak with her. Legal aid called, worked out a payment plan, and Marilyn stayed in her home until her death, paying a reasonable amount of money that allowed her some dignity. The bank was paid back in full, plus expenses, and before she died, Marilyn called to thank her housing lawyer, saying that she would have been long dead because, and these are her words, under the I-4 overpass, there's a slope. She told me one day, I would have rolled out into the traffic snoring one night. I'm really glad to be alive. Legal aid enabled Marilyn to peacefully pass in her comfortable bed. She was a feisty, funny lady. May she rest in peace. Legal aid, again, ensured that Marilyn could spend those days in a place she felt most comfortable. And really, there's no better job. Other examples of the work we perform include immigration. Our two-person staff processes U visas and helps victims of crime. That means a child from outside the United States that's being humanly trafficked is provided a free lawyer. Let's agree that a 7-year-old that's being beat, raped, abused, neglected, and a victim of human trafficking deserves a free lawyer, because only a lawyer can step into the court and speak on behalf of that child. A Google search yesterday shows that the approximate legal hourly rate is in Orlando anywhere from $400 to $1,500. Not something easily affordable for a low-income person, and certainly not for a child. Legal aid is a provider for guardian ad litem legal services for children through no fault of their own or in the foster care and dependency system. This is heartbreaking, but extremely important work. Because again, remember, only an attorney can ensure a forever adoptive family through the termination of parental rights. Only a lawyer can ensure that a child is returned to its family of origin. What are the other types of law we practice? I'm glad you asked. Domestic violence injunctions and family law are a big part of our work. Besides housing, family law is our largest practice area. A spouse, drunk or stoned, beat family members. They need to get into a shelter, but their child doesn't want to go without taking their pet. Legal aid handles the divorce, injunctions for protection, and family law issues, including child support, supervised visitation, visitation schedules, co-parenting, education, family and individual counseling, dental, medical, and psychiatric services. These are done all through court intervention. We also refer clients to the appropriate shelter, sometimes one with pet access. If a person is beating a human being, it's not hard to understand that the same abuser probably is also neglecting or injuring a beloved family pet. Other intake screening calls include young adults working and paying their credit cards, their car payment, and their rent. And suddenly, without warning, they're laid off and cannot afford their student loans. Legal aid answers the questions regarding student loan and consumer debt. Legal aid helps consumers, assisting with garnishment, identity theft, bankruptcy, and debt collection. Legal aid does guardianships for caretakers of special need adults. We prepare taxes at no charge. We're a United Way Vita tax site. That means that low-income clients keep all the money from their tax return, paying no fee. None of our clients say they're going to Disney World. We simply hear things like, I'm going to go food shopping, I'm going to pay my rent, or it's time to buy the kids' shoes. Legal aid does sealing and expunction cases. This improves the chances of getting a good job or dignified housing. Sometimes it helps with loan applications. When employers, apartment managers, law enforcement, and others see that you were charged with a crime, even if you were found not guilty or if it was dismissed, you face a huge stigma. That stigma can prevent one from having a better life. Legal aid handles the removal of minor criminal records when appropriate. Now, I'm not talking about sex crimes, robberies, homicides, or murder. If a criminal case is dropped or dismissed, a defendant may be able to expunge that record. If the defendant was not able to expunge, they may be able to seal the record. One example of a client's case that we're working on currently is the possession of one oxycodone pill. It was dismissed, and the client cannot find a job because of what it sounds like. Of course, it sounds like human distribution of Oxycontin, which it wasn't. And this woman borrowed one of her mother's oxycodone pills because she had a toothache. Another case is a client that was charged with theft. This too was eventually dropped because there wasn't enough evidence to charge the fella. They want to provide a better life for their families by attaining employment. Legal aid gives these clients an opportunity to do so. So why am I sharing with you about our nonprofit agency? Well, my research about your club shows that you're business professionals networking in the community, increasing your speaking and storytelling skills, and performing great community service. You are my people. Do you want to connect with the legal community in Orange County? Do you want to make money while helping the community and our nonprofit? Is the legal and business community in Orlando your target audience for new business? Our opportunities will grow your business, make you money, and make you feel good as you become a legal aid contributor. Did you know that there are 17 different bar associations? I can network you to specific groups. So for example, and this will show you the difference in groups, there's a Christian bar association, and then there's also an LGBTQ plus bar association. There's a Hispanic Bar Association, an African American Bar Association, Asian American Bar Association, Young Lawyers Division of the Florida Bar, Central Florida Association of Women Lawyers, and Orange County Bar Association, and others. Our BOC fundraiser, which is Breakfast of Champions, is attended from members of all these bar associations. Again, bar, not as in vodka, as in legal, although sometimes those two may cross paths. Although legal aid doesn't pay a dime for that. Legal aid, along with Orange County government, produces a show called The Domino Effect, DE. It runs on Orange and Spectrum TV and all their affiliates, which are 7 other local cable channels. It's hosted on the web, YouTube, and it's broadcast on other radio stations. A $500 sponsorship allows your company logo, name, and contact information, including your website, to be featured at the end of the program, and your program name is mentioned on the air. After the DE, Domino Effect, airs live, it is then available on the Orange County Spectrum website for a bit, and then you can link it to your website, your Facebook, your YouTube site, and any of your social media avenues. The amount of publicity is vast. Yesterday, I called Spectrum and asked, what's the cost of an ad for Spectrum just to throw it up? They told me $2,000 a month or $500 a week was the least expensive ad that they sold. Our $500 once Certainly beats those charges. Our Breakfast of Champions, BOC, corporate sponsorships are 1,000, 2,750, 5,000, 10,000, 15,000, 25,000, and of course, I'll take more if somebody wants to give it. Each level comes with a different level of sponsorship recognition. We've been doing this event for 17 years. It is well respected and enjoyable fundraising event. Our last virtual event brought over 1,000 people participating between Facebook Live, YouTube, Spectrum, Orange TV, Eventbrite, and other media sources. That was our virtual event. Our last in-person event brought 627 attendees. And this year, we're back in person by invitation only. Our event will take place at the Plaza Live on Bumby in November of this year. It's an early one, though, from 7 to 9, but it is the event to be at, attended by the movers and shakers in our community. We have an hour of networking from 7 to 8 for you to meet interesting and well-respected business meetings. Then our host, West TV Stuart Moore, begins our show. This is Stuart's 4th year serving as our host. At the BOC, Breakfast of Champions, gosh, we have an acronym for everything. Sponsors may receive their name in the Briefs magazine, which is a magazine that goes out to every attorney in Orange County through the Orange County Bar Association, in the Legal Aid Society docket newsletter at the event on the screen. And depending on the sponsorship, some receive social media and other benefits. Regardless of how you participate, I ask that you please do something and please do it today. Some can scan the QR code and donate monthly or weekly, one time or many times. Even a $25 donation helps us. Others can sponsor through your business at $2,750, $500, or other amounts. Still, others of you can invite me to come speak at your place of business. At your seat, you'll find a box of tea with my business card. Please take it home. It will remind you to please call me to schedule a virtual or in-person caffeinated foxtail meeting. Please share our information with people that you believe might need a free lawyer. But please, don't give them my personal cell phone that I've shared with you, or otherwise people call me at 3 o'clock in the morning needing an attorney urgently. Those folks are sent to our intake number on the website. My card is only for your use because I need to sleep. Please think about an investment in the domino effect or the Breakfast of Champions. Please visit us at legalaidocba.org and on social media. Thank you, and please remember what I shared with you today, that justice should not be available only for those that can afford it. And please remember your pledge with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Do we have any questions? Pretty comprehensive presentation. Denny has one. Hold on. I would assume that participation by, excuse me, all the law firms is voluntary. What percentage of law firms do give to you? And basically, what percentage of law firms also offer pro bono services?
Okay, so typically across the state of Florida, we found that only 20% of the need to help people is met. In Orange County, there's 17 bar associations. The Orange County Bar is the one association that makes it mandatory. In the state of Florida, you don't have to donate. It's aspirational. You don't have to take 2 cases. It's aspirational. That's been the rule that's been in place for 32 years. That's never changed. So every attorney, unless you're a member of the Orange County Bar, doesn't have to, but they're encouraged to do those cases. What percentage, what, sir?
What percentage gives?
Oh, 80%. It's easier to write a check for $350 than it is sometimes to deal with a full case.
Thank you for your presentation. What areas of Orange County are you seeing the most need in?
Poverty is poverty. It's straight across the board. We are in every corner and every zip code of Orange County. We go from Winter Park to the highest area of poverty in town. We don't have to look for clients. People find us. Our intake is going and nonstop, and we even do intake on the weekends and Saturdays. So, in answer to your question, every zip code has people living in poverty. Our typical client comes from, working at a park at one of the entertainment industries, who's making minimum wage or slightly over, has a family of four, and something happens. People, when you say, are one paycheck away from eviction, that's very true. It's very true. We see a lot of people doubling up. Rent is a big problem here in Orlando, doubling and tripling up in a house now to stay housed.
Donna, thank you. We appreciate it, you being here, and appreciate what Legal Aid Society is doing.
Thank you. We appreciate the welcome.
Thank you so much for coming. We have a little gift for you for being here today.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you for the important work that you do.
Thank you.